What if I told you that the highest converting e-commerce emails use practically zero design? Well, in this video, I'm gonna show you the exact framework that I use to write great e-commerce emails that puts money in your client's pocket, your own pocket, and requires absolutely no design skills. But before we dive in, I do have a free gift for you, my course, Copywriting Catalyst. It's a copywriting guide with 63 cash cow copywriting tips that you can read in 90 seconds or less each and get a ton of free copywriting value. So if you are just diving into copywriting, this is a phenomenal resource for you to get going. Go ahead and hit the link in the description below. Give me your email, tell me where to send it, and I'll have it over to you ASAP, absolutely free. All right, let's dive into what we're here to talk about. First, before I show you my framework, I need to tell you why I do things the way that I do, because this is gonna be controversial to how most copywriters approach e-commerce brands, where you've subscribe to those big e-commerce brands with lots of images and designs and layering, and you're a copywriter, so you're like, well, I'm not a designer, I can't do those things. Well, I've gone the opposite route, and I've had tremendous success with the e-com brands that I've written for, generating hundreds of thousands of dollars using this very controversial strategy of plain text emails. That's right, a plain text email, a dream to a copywriter like yourself. I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it. But first, let me tell you the benefits, because your clients will freak out, right? No doubt they're gonna be like, what am I paying for you just to write copy and blah, blah, blah. Let me give you some of the benefits that you can quickly outline for my way of doing e-com brands. Benefit number one is deliverability. A plain text email is way more likely to land in somebody's primary inbox instead of the spam or promotions folder. So when your client is struggling with clicks or open rates or sales, you need to check their deliverability. And if they're doing highly designed emails, those are big red flags to Google and Yahoo and other people's filters that say this could potentially be a promotional or spam email, which candidly, most e-commerce emails are promotional emails, but we want to bypass those filters with great deliverability. A plain text email is way less likely to trigger a promo or spam filter, which means your open rates will go up, your click rates will go up, and your sales will go up. The second benefit is you have a more personal touch to your emails. As I'm about to show you in the email that we're gonna write together, me and you today, you're gonna notice that it feels less like corporate jargon trying to sell you something and more like a personal one-on-one connection. And if you know me, you know that the first thing you sell is yourself, then your product. No matter how big your brand is, it's humans buying from other humans. So the more personal your emails can feel, the bigger the win. Again, I'll explain more as we write the email. And benefit number three is the automatic email mobile optimization. Most people read on their mobile, but most designers design on a desktop. And so you have to do a lot of formatting and textures, and sometimes the mobile doesn't look right. So even though you intended for this highly designed, beautiful email, a lot of times it breaks on mobile or it doesn't look good on desktop. It's hard to get both to look right. And with the plain text email, it's way more automatic. You save way more time and you spend more time creating compelling emails rather than just adjusting margins and kerning and banners and all things like that. But I know what you're gonna ask. CopyGo, how am I gonna convince my client of these things even with these benefits? Well, if you can't convince them outright to at least try it, ask them to A/B test what I'm about to show you. Hey, let's do the way we've been doing emails, highly designed, all that stuff. And then let's also try this method as an A/B test to see the open rates, the clicks, and the sales. Whichever one gets better results, we'll keep doing. Really hard to argue with sales at that point. So use that to convince your client that this is the way to go. All right, now let's dive in on how to actually write these emails so you can make a lot of green stuff. And I'm not gonna hold back. This is practically a free course right here. All right, so let's dive in. I'm gonna take you over to my laptop. Let's go ahead and start recording. All right, and here's what I'm recording right here on my laptop. You see that I've opened up a Google Doc that is a campaign calendar, which by the way, the Google Doc and everything that I'm about to show you today, I'm gonna give you for free in the link in the description below. You can just click the link. You can have it all for free, the template. I'm gonna show you another template a little bit later, but basically step one of writing great e-com emails is I like to make a campaign campaign calendar. So I like to know what I'm writing ahead of time. That way, with the titles and the formats and all that stuff taken care of, I can have a great go-to strategy. Two, you can also show it to your client, right? So that's an added benefit is you can show your client the campaign calendar before you start writing. So here's my simple campaign calendar, okay? So I have an email overview, and for the sake of simplicity, I just got a couple on here, but typically I'm sending 2 to 3 emails per client, which would be about 12 emails per month on average. But right here, I'm just showing you as if I were writing 1 a week, okay? So 4 emails. I got the email, which I usually put the subject line or the direction or whatever up top. The campaign date, so this is for February 2025, right? And then I'm putting the date that the email is going to go out, and I'm putting whether it's approved or not approved, okay? A lot of you guys have systems, whether it's Asana or Trello or whatever, for your clients to approve these things. I like to keep it simple. Honestly, even my highest paying multi-$1,000 clients, they love that I just send them a Google Doc, right? They love that this is just straight up a Google Doc. It's got my emails here to the side, which we'll write one together. Over here, and we just align on this. It's so easy because they could just come in here and they could just leave a comment and bam, they love that. So it's very, very excellent. This is so simple. The simpler you leave it on your clients, the better. All right, so down here, I got the brand overview. I'm writing for one of my favorite clients. He lets me talk about this stuff on the channel, so I like to use him a lot. Plus, he's great, fantastic. Hopewell Farms, great client of mine. They sell organic animal-based food, so like chicken eggs, chicken, beef, turkey, pork, all things like that. He's got his own organic farm, regenerative, all that stuff. Great client. The goal for February is we're going to drive net new subscriptions. He has a subscription box, think Butcher Box, and we're going to drive net new subscriptions for my client. The persona, I like to keep this simple. I know a lot of people, they go above and beyond. You'll notice that I keep things simple because I really want to focus on writing great content, not dilly-dallying around on systems all day. Right, so my persona is typically a 35 to 45-year-old, right? They have a little bit more money. They want to invest in their health. 80% is female who's buying, so keep that in mind. Upper middle class, right? They're typically making $80,000 to $150,000 a year, somewhere as that as a household income. They are local. They are in North Georgia, very health conscious, and they invest in working out, organic food, yoga. They have kids, married, family. Okay, so you kind of get the gist. I don't need to dive so much into that, right? I got the website here as a link handy, so that way I know, all right, this is where I'm going. And then one thing I really like to keep on my docs, I typically hide this from the clients, but I keep this for your sake in here so you can have it on the template. I've got like 6 kind of go-to frameworks that I use to write these emails. And you could take these. This is like unlimited. I use these all day long. I really don't vary off from any of these. So this is going to be helpful for you. So email ideas, what I'm trying to figure out here is I'm trying to figure out what 4 emails do I want to write for the month. Okay. And then get that aligned. So, right, we're building the campaign calendar. So these are some ideas. I could do an FAQ. So let's say an email subscriber asked a question, I like to reply to it in public. Hey, tell me about blah, blah, blah. Is grass-fed beef really better than just normal organic beef? Well, I may take that email reply and I'll turn it into an email. Email customer subscriber Adrian asks, is grass-fed beef really better than organic beef? And then I start answering the question. I turn it into a fun bantering back and forth, and bam, that's the email. So that's a great email that I use very often. Behind the scenes. So I'll tell a short story about what's going on behind the scenes at Hopewell Farms, right? So I'll text my client, his name's Phil, and I'll say, Phil, tell me about something that happened this week. Send me a voice memo. Life hack. Tell your clients to just send you a voice memo instead of emailing you back. Oh my gosh, they send those so much faster. They're way faster. It's way easier for the client. I mean, they are founders, owners, CEOs. These guys don't have time and they're not writers. They don't want to write up a whole email of stories or hop on another call. Just send me a voice memo. Well, he tells me a story. I take his voice memo. I copy the voice memo off my phone, right? And I put that transcript into ChatGPT. I have it summarize it for me so I get it and it cleans up the transcript for me. And then I look at the summary and bam, I write that into an email. Current event or breaking news, especially in the farm or the food industry, I have a ton of content to always be writing on current event, breaking news and things like that. You could just literally look up what's going on in my industry. In fact, this is what we're going to write on today. I Googled just before this some strategies on what we're going to write about today. And so we're going to do a current event breaking news. I'll show you that. a review riff, take a review that a customer left, right? You could go to Google right now. Like I could literally just go to Google Hopewell Farms. I can come down in here and I could just look at the reviews. I could just look at all the reviews in here, scroll down and just see if I see anything that catches my eye. I mean, this 1 star, we were there a while ago to pick up some meat, leaving a 1 star due to this POS older, short, chubby guy in a backwards hat who thought yelling at his daughter was appropriate. I might turn that into an email. That sounds pretty funny, right? Anything like that. I bought a turkey and the brisket. I tell you, wow, great quality, the best. Okay, that's gotta be an email. This is the subject line right here. Wow, great quality, the best. You see how she's yelling? So that's a great way. This is hilarious. It's a great way to get an email, okay? So a review riff. I also like to do a Reddit riff. I like to go in Reddit and see what people are talking about in my industry, organic, health food, things like that, and see what questions they have, and then I'll review and riff on the comments, right? The comments are typically pretty crazy, super fun. The next one is a transformation. I like to tell transformation of clients, right? So before I was buying Hopewell Farms, right? I was probably slightly overweight. I was feeling really guilty about my Canva bowls, my Chipotle seed oil bowls. And then after, right? You guys just deliver it every week. I'm cooking more at home. I'm in better shape, blah, 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 right? So that's a good A/B transformation. And then the last one is us versus them. I typically use this one a lot. So brand enemy being like seed oils, big pharma, non-organic food, just unhealthy crap, all this stuff. So typically you just find something that you're picking on that cannot compare to the quality of your product. And then bam, you go from there. So honestly, you could take one of these and like come up here and like change this out to current event. You could turn this one into an us versus them. You could turn this one into a review riff, right? All this stuff. So now let's say we're going to do a current event, email 1 current event. Okay. So I'm going to take that. And from there, I'm now going to outline the rest of my emails for the month. I'm going to start getting some ideas for them. And I'm going to start writing some content, right? Once you have the ideas, it's way easier to write. All right, so now let's go to step 2, which is write the email. So to write the email, I'm going to give you the exact framework that I use. I like to use a tab right here. And the exact framework that I like to use is called the SLO framework, SLO. What that stands for is story, lesson, offer. I know a lot of these like e-commerce gurus out here are always like PAS and ADA and you're so good, all this 4 Ps. And I love the SLO framework. And the reason I like this is because it keeps people engaged more than just selling them. They continue to open your emails because they're entertaining. So I start with a short story, right? I'm like riffing on something that seems very enjoyable. I then pivot to a lesson or more like the bridge to my offer, and then I make the offer. So let's do this. Let's actually write an email together and I'll show you how I use the SLO framework, SLO. Okay, so back on the campaign calendar, I talked about we're gonna do a current event. So a little bit earlier, I literally went to Google and I just typed in like breaking news, farms, USA, right? I typed this in and I didn't get much. And so then, I mean, I typically like to see like what's actually trending, right? What's on the New York Jets could have had top. Okay, so like this is obviously not good enough. Okay, bird flu, Illinois cases about what you should know, virus spreads. Okay, what's this bird flu? Bird flu cases, the spread of MS concerning mutation bird flu. Okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, so there's a bird flu. Now let me see, is there bird flu Georgia farms? Okay, chicken farmers on alert from bird flu found in second commercial flock. Over 100,000 ducks. Wow. Avian, and then bam, this is the article I found. So obviously I clicked over here. Avian surge clues U.S. poultry has addressed contamination of raw food. And then they talk about Georgia outbreak, poultry farms, things like this, okay? So now I've got some breaking news. This is a serious threat to Georgia's #1 industry and livelihoods of thousands of Georgians. Okay, now I've got some breaking news that I can turn into an email. So I texted my client and I said, hey, have you been affected by this bird flu? And he said, no, we're not affected at all. We don't run like a factory. We're very organic, very natural. So it's a lot easier for us to not be affected. I said, perfect. Fantastic. Okay. He's like, yeah, I got texted by a couple times. People ask me if we have chicken and things like that. So I turned that into an email. Okay. So let me show you how that email could look like. I'll start with the body. Typically, I like to write the actual email itself and then kind of riff on the subject line. I know that's opposite to people, but a lot of times I'll actually end up writing something that I think is so good it becomes the subject line. So I might do something like this where I turn it into a story where it says, I got a text from a buddy yesterday. Let's take this bold off. I got a text from a buddy yesterday. It says, now this is how my client likes to write. Phil, do you have any chicken, eggs? I need protein. All right, so we're having fun. My client is very fun. He's very optimistic. He enjoys this a lot. So I like to do stuff like this for him. Okay. Phil, do you have any protein, eggs, chicken? Okay. So now I'm telling a story. You see how I started this? Like, I didn't just be like, hey guys, we have chicken available. I know there's like bird flus and stuff like that. No, I didn't say that stuff. That stuff is like good. I probably make some short-term sales, but remember, I'm trying to build long-term relationships with my client, with my client's people. And so I'd like to tell a story because it keeps them opening not just this email, but the next email and the next email and the next email, because they know it's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. And I'm not just hard sell, hard sell, hard sell. This is the opposite of most e-com brands. They just hard sell, hard sell. And that's why they're so dependent on discounts and deals and all that offers and bonuses and premiums, because people don't want to buy their crap any other time than when they're doing discounts and deals. But the way I write it makes it so fun and engaging that they're opening the emails whether they're buying or not. And the chances are makes it a lot more likely that they buy. I know, because I made a lot of money doing this. All right. So I got a text from a buddy yesterday. Phil, do you have any eggs? Do you have any chicken, eggs, or protein? And I told him, my man, let's do this. My man, I am all wiped out. Let's write some of this. I'll speed this up for you and we'll get rocking and rolling. Money from me over the last, since this bird flu thing. This is where I insert the breaking news, okay? Man, I'm all wiped out because everybody's been buying from me over the last few days from this bird flu thing. And then I pivot over to, I'm gonna chime in with the breaking news, which is gonna kind of be the bulk of my email. If you haven't heard, I'm talking to my email subscriber. There has been a massive case of bird flu going around all these Georgia farms, which is why you can't find barely any chicken, eggs, or other good stuff at your local grocery store. And then we'll do this. But fear not. We're having tons of fun here. Okay, but fear not. But fear not. Farmer Phil is here. And then I'm gonna pivot. I'm making it funny because I just said I got wiped out. Actually, I don't have chicken. But I do have what you really want. Protein. Why settle for chicken? I'll take that down. Settle for chicken when you can have beef, pork steaks, turkey burgers. I'm doing this because it's fun. You're obviously kind of getting the vibe. I'm getting into this a little bit. Why settle for chicken when you can have beef, pork steaks, turkey burgers, which is actually included in your Farm Fresh weekly box subscription. Okay, so now I'm pivoting to the offer, all right? this is the short lesson here where I kind of told the story. My buddy texted me about the bird flu thing. I'm talking about the bird flu thing. I inserted that. I could riff on this a lot longer, but for the sake of brevity in doing this email, I'm going to keep it to where it's at, okay? Farmer Phil is here. Actually, I don't have any chicken, but I do have what you really want, protein. Okay, so that's my lesson. My lesson here is I'm kind of shifting it over to you don't really want chicken, you want protein. Okay, protein is what's good for you. So why settle for chicken when you can have beef, pork steaks, turkey burgers, what is actually included in your farm, which is actually included in your Farm Fresh weekly box. And that's exactly why I don't have any more chicken, because I prioritize my subscribers first. Maybe you would have got some chicken. But either way, now is the perfect time to subscribe. Because I'm also, and I'm gonna make an offer, because I'm also offering your first box free when you subscribe within the next 24 hours. Typically, I run these by the client. He lets me do stuff like this, but you want to have a list of offers that you go back and forth. Just click the link below. Notice that deadline I gave there with the offer. You got to have a deadline with an offer. So what do they get and how long until they get it? So just click the link below, throw the box in your cart, and voila, we will have it to you within 2 days at your doorstep. Cool. And then I put the link here. Obviously I can make this like more engaging. Like I'm not going to re-edit it. Typically my first go is probably 80% of what I land on. Then I'll re-edit it, kind of tighten it up a little bit, change the transitions, but you get it up. Like even if I were to fire this off right now, it's honestly, it would probably do really well. So in that, we'll have it to you within 2 days, blah, blah, blah. Hope you enjoy this. Your friend, Farmer Phil. Hope you enjoy this. Your friend, Farmer Phil. P.S. We are exclusive to Hall County, which is a county there in North Georgia. I like to add that in there to make it more exclusive, tight on the offer. So as you see there, I started with a story. This is the SLO framework. I started with a story. I went to the lesson, which could also just be seen as some like transitionary period. You don't have to teach something, but it's more prepping them for the offer. I'm transitioning from I'm having fun to like, this is what you really want. And then I make the offer, or I'm having fun. I'm going to address your problem. Then I make the offer. So slow, the story lesson offer. This is how I actually do the SLO framework. So now we've got our email written. Candidly, I like to take this. So let me see. Let's figure out the subject lines. So, okay, so like this line, actually, I'll probably take this right here and turn this chicken, eggs, I need protein. Right, that's gonna be a super fun subject line. He likes that stuff. Click inside for juicy details, all right? Like, get them the call to action. Super fun. So chicken, eggs, protein. That's exactly why I like writing the email, because chances are I'm gonna write something in here that's eye-catching, that's fun, instead of just like, last chance, 24 hours. Again, it's long-term relationships that we're building, okay? All right, the last thing is one of two things. You could either take this email, copy and paste it into your client's Klaviyo and ship it out, right, as is, or MailChimp, or whatever you guys are using. You could just copy and paste this email, send it out. I like to send it, by the way, from the owner. So this will come from Phil at Hopewell Farms, or, you know, if you're sending emails for somebody else, Jeff at Gymshark, or whatever. Like, I like to do those things because I make it personal coming from somebody. Now, this is the last part. If your client is absolutely against zero design, like I'm not going to send a plain text emails, right? I then created a Canva template for you that takes absolutely no design skills, whatever. Here's what it is. It's this Canva template, and at the very top, it's literally an image and the logo, and then the rest is plain text. That's it, okay? So if they're really against it, this is where I will offer some sort of design. So now I've got this design here, which honestly, it's just like, I took a picture of a steak, which you could change it to chicken or whatever. I put like a little banner over it, right? Like a little color banner, or you could do like, you could put the transparency lower, right? You could do something like that. That's basically what you do. So that way I put the logo on top. That's it. And then in Canva, you can literally just go in there, search for a picture of chicken or whatever. And then I copy and paste the email in there. That is literally it. So you don't have to do anything other than that. Like transparency down, put the logo wherever that you can get it, change the picture, and that's it. That literally takes no design skill. You were just adding a picture and the logo. Literally it. That way your client's happy. They're like, okay, I'm getting some kind of design. Again, you A/B test it from there. I use this template for any e-com brand that hates the plain text thing. Plain text is best, but even if you do one image, it'll still get good deliverability, just not splattered with images everywhere. That's it. That is exactly how I write e-com emails. I build a calendar, okay? I outline that calendar. I use the SLO framework on practically every single email, taking one of those email ideas that I showed you in the beginning. We wrote an email live. We put that into either a plain text or the most basic design ever. I send it to my client to approve, which by the way, you could send this Canva link over to your client to approve. You could do that if you want to, or you could just send the Google Doc. Again, my client loves the Google Doc. It's great with it. And then I put the emails in their Klaviyo and they're good to go. So this is a very simple way and highly profitable to write e-com emails. You don't have to do all these fancy things that everybody else talks about. This is really great. Your clients will love it. You'll get to write more. Your clients will make a lot more money. You'll make a lot more money and we're all happy. If you enjoyed this email, I would ask you, please hit the like button and the subscribe button to show me that you want me to create more free content just like this so you can continue putting money in your pocket and your clients' pockets, become a highly successful copywriter, and we can help each other. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful and I'll catch you on the next one.